Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Comments on Issues Facing Clinton. My guest tonight will be Attorney Dennis P. Sargent, the town solicitor for the town of Clinton. It was approximately a year ago that Attorney Sargent was sworn in as the town solicitor succeeding Attorney William Connolly. And tonight we're here to talk about the legal fitness of the town of Clinton. Attorney Sargent, welcome to Comments on Issues Facing Clinton.
Thank you, Ed. I'm pleased to be here this evening.
Well, it's nice to have you with us, Dennis.
Thank you.
I told you about a year ago that we'd have you on talking about the state of the legal affairs of the town of Clinton, and I appreciate the time that you're giving to us tonight. When you campaigned for this office approximately a year ago, you talked about making the office of the town solicitor more accessible, not only to the people, but to the boards in the town. What have you done to accomplish that goal?
Yes. The first and most important thing that I did that I ran on part of my campaign platform was that I would attend all the selectmen meetings, and I'm pleased to announce that I have done that. I've been very glad to do that. Being able to attend all the selectmen meetings has given me an excellent opportunity to keep abreast of all the legal matters that are facing the town as they come up. It allows me to be proactive and to be able to give the board some instantaneous advice whenever I have the opportunity. And it also gives me the opportunity that when there needs to be some further development of some of the legal issues, it gives me a better grasp of the issues at hand. So it gives me a great opportunity to make sure that I'm doing whatever I can to safeguard the legal interest of the town. That was one of the pivotal things that I wanted to do. One of the other things that I wanted to do was not just focus on the Board of Selectmen, but also focus on all the various other boards. So I've been accessible and available to meeting with the Board of Health. I've gone to meetings with the Fuller Field Commission and the Parks and Rec Commission. I've met constantly with the Community and Economic Development Office on issues, and I've been able to meet with the Treasurer's Office, with the Assessor's Office, with the Tax Collector's Office, and just try to address whatever legal concerns that they have. So that was one of the key things that I tried to do. One of the things that I would like to build upon after my first year would be, I would like to, whenever there's new statutes that come down from the legislature and signed into law by the governor, I would like to then take those, send those to the head of the particular department that it may affect and give them an opportunity to review it and then meet with them and try and explain to them the new aspects of that provision and how that affects them and how we can be more proactive in addressing the legal needs of the town. So those are the two key things that I have done and that I'm trying to do for the accessibility.
Making yourself more accessible, has it cut into your private law practice?
Yes, it has, but I think it's for the better. I mean, I took a position that I was going to be the town solicitor for the town of Clinton, and that is first and foremost my concern as my elected official duties would warrant. So whenever there's a need for me to be available for something, whether it's during the bid process for the high school in which they're opening the bids and they have maybe a slight glitch that may come up that they need me within a half an hour's notice, they've called me and I've gone up there and I've tried to help them out. So whatever the need is, I try and be as fluid and as available as I can be, and be available to the change and be available to adapt to whatever the needs are for the town at the particular time. So that has been and is my first and foremost concern, but it has made some inroads into my time that is available for my private practice.
You talked also about opening a law office in a town hall. Has that been accomplished?
Yes, I was very fortunate and I'm very happy to, state here on this show that I've had the full support of the Board of Selectmen. One of the first things that I did was I petitioned the board to ask them to try and find some space available for me at the town hall so that I could open up an office at the town hall to be more accessible to various boards. I do have an office there now. It is still kind of in its infancy and I'm trying to develop it, and one of the things that I would like to do in the coming year would be to set up some office hours up there and be there during certain times so that each of the board members, each of the heads of the departments would know when I'm going to be there so that they can just drop by and see me. Obviously that doesn't preclude them from calling my office and trying to get hold of me, but I just wanted to designate certain times to be available for them, so that's something that I will be doing. one of the other additional components of having that office up there, one of the things that I wanted to try and do was to develop it from a computerization standpoint and move it forward into the next century. What I'd like to do, and what I have done, is I've purchased a computer for that office, which would allow me to have CD-ROM capabilities, which allows me to have some computer research, which we have a program, a computer disk that has all the statutes, all the case law, all the regulations in Massachusetts right on it, and it's a small little disk where this whole room would be full with the books. If it had to have all those books in that particular room, I can have them on a little disk, put them into the computer, type in my word search, and I can then get up-to-date statutes, case law, and whatnot. That has also helped and facilitated my ability to get onto the internet and be able to gain some computer research from that standpoint.
How does the town solicitor use the internet for research?
Well, as you know, as a practicing attorney yourself, one of the biggest expenses for any law office or for any law firm is the legal library. By having the access to the internet, a lot of the federal statutes are free right on the internet, and I can then access that through the databases that they have through the Library of Congress, through the House of Representatives and whatnot, and have some federal agencies and laws available to me. Not only the statutes, but the Code of Federal Regulations, some case law that might be on the internet. So it's given me a great opportunity to better fine-tune some of my legal opinions to the town, and it's helped me get a better grasp of the legal issues that are facing the town.
Have you had need in the last year to use the internet to access federal law as pertains to the town of Clinton?
Yes, actually, I had a situation where we had a discrimination case that went before the Mass Commission Against Discrimination. One of the issues that came up was the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is a federal statute, so I've had that opportunity to use that. During this past year, we have negotiated a new cable contract, and one of the issues that came up was the Communications Act, which is a federal statute. And then there's ongoing issues that I'll be faced with. We have a civil rights case with the police department that involves some federal law that I'll be involved in, which is a 1983 civil rights case.
You have office staff at the town hall?
Currently, I'm in the process of having a secretary that will be able to do my typing. So as of right now, I don't have somebody staffing it at this point, but I do have somebody that will be available to assist me in the various, getting the letters out, getting documents ready for court, being able to respond to the different boards, and just try and maintain a good, cohesive filing system so that the town's records are kept adequately for the legal department.
Well, are the town's legal files now stored in the town hall?
Well, that was one of the crucial reasons why I wanted to have an office at the town hall, and that was, in my opinion, one of the most important things that the town solicitor needs to make sure that they do is they need to make sure that they maintain all of the town's legal files, not just litigation files or matters that have gone to court, but also legal opinions that are given to the different boards that issues may come up 5 years from now on the same issue. And it would be nice to be able to go to a card catalog, pull out an issue and say, okay, that has already been researched or already been developed, review that, and then obviously follow up and make sure the statute hasn't been amended or case law hasn't come down to interpret it in a different fashion. So that is one of the crucial things that I'm trying to develop, and I'm still in the early stages of developing that, but I'm trying to gather as much information from prior solicitors to try and develop that so that we can have kind of a legal warehouse to have these documents so that sometime down the road, when somebody else is in this position, they'll have it a little bit easier in knowing that if there was an issue that has already been tried before the appellate tax board, they'd be able to pull that file and be able to review it and just see how somebody might have done it in the past. Could save us some money from the standpoint of some research might have already been done and developed and kept in the file. So it's just great from a continuity standpoint to be able to do that and have that resource available. I mean, I've been very fortunate that in the past we've had outstanding town solicitors. Every one of them prior to me has been outstanding, and every one of them in some way through the current ones have helped me and assisted me and tried to make my transition a little bit easier. So I've been very fortunate in that respect.
It sounds to me though you're trying to bring technology to a municipal law department.
Yes, I think that it's crucial in any law firm, but essential in a municipal law firm, that in order to compete, you need to be able to have the access and the readily availability of all these tools at your disposal, where in years past or prior to the internet and prior to the computerization research, it was too costly to be able to do that, but now it's made things much easier and much more simplified. I mean, one of the things that I'm going to try and do during the next year of my term is to try and look into some computer disks that deal with labor law issues, because as you know, we negotiate and participate in the fire department contracts, the police department contracts, and the DPW contracts. That would be helpful and beneficial to me in advising the Board of Selectmen and advising Michael Ward, our town administrator, to have access to these as these decisions are coming down, just to keep up to date and abreast of the current issues. And I'm also looking into that for environmental issues too, because we have several of those issues floating around.
Well, environmental issues brings me to the MWRA,
Yes.
Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. Can you tell us what is the status vis-a-vis the MWRA in the town of Clinton regarding the water situation?
Okay, I'm pleased to announce that there's essentially two aspects to that. The first aspect is hopefully close to a conclusion, and that aspect is the sewer treatment plant and the user fees that were assessed against the town of Clinton, in which there was a summary judgment motion entered against the town prior to my taking the helm at the solicitor's office. And essentially that was it then went up on appeal to the Supreme Judicial Court. With the help of outside counsel, the town was able to secure basically a settlement agreement with the MWRA, where from a legislative standpoint they were able to take care of whatever outstanding balance was due, which was approximately a $6 million balance. And then there was an annual appropriation that will be made by the legislature of $500,000. So from the financial end, that dealt with that issue. Then we have the appeal, which helped fashion, and it's almost concluded at this point, where they will be able to try and set aside the judgment of the Superior Court, which would allow the town in the future, if that $500,000 isn't appropriated by the legislature for whatever reason, then we would be able to litigate anew all of the issues from the beginning of this suit. One thing that was a tremendous asset to the town was this firm that we had retained for outside counsel had some serious political clout. They had the reputation and the ability to just gather an immense amount of material to assist the town in fashioning what procedural remedies we have and also substantive remedies that we have, and I'm very confident that they have done an excellent job to prepare us for the future if that issue ever came up again, but hopefully it never will. So that aspect of it is the first aspect. The second aspect of it is new, and it's going to be coming up soon, and that's dealing with the water filtration issue, the water filtration plant. The DEP has indicated that under the Safe Drinking Water Act that they want us to conduct a certain testing.
This would be in Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection?
Yes, I'm sorry. And to conduct certain testing to make sure that the water is drinkable water and that it is in accordance with the Safe Drinking Water Act. What they have indicated and what they want the town to do is to commence going ahead and doing a study or a plan to develop a plan so that it could be implemented in the future if it ever needed to. The concern that the town has, and it certainly is a very important concern and the most important concern that I have, is that our position is that through the 1897 statute and throughout, as you know, the town of Clinton gave up 40% of its land mass to construct the reservoir in exchange for free water. Obviously, our argument is that free water also included drinkable water, or what they call potable water, so that it's not our responsibility to be maintaining this. This would be the MWRA's responsibility, is the town's position. But because this is a matter that will be ongoing and we have a settlement or a enforcement conference coming up, I really can't get into it much further than that than to state that the town's position is clear. It's not a responsibility of the towns, it's a responsibility of the MWRA. We shouldn't be constructing and maintaining the water filtration plant. That is a responsibility of the MWRA.
Couldn't the legislature somehow or other bring some sort of finality to these issues, water filtration plant, potable water, our contribution to the MWRA? Couldn't legislation provide us some finality? We're paying legal fees, we're paying all sorts of costs incurred here.
It is an issue that our elected officials are addressing. They're working hard on it. They've tried to the best of their ability to try and fashion a remedy available. One potential I guess, issue that could be addressed would be whether or not they could repeal this 1987 statute that basically set it up where it said that the town's maximum liability or responsibility for the sewer user charges would be $500,000 a year. The concern that I have with that 1987 statute is it's subject to appropriation of the legislature. And as you know, appropriations by the legislature are made on an annual basis through the House of Representatives. And if for whatever reason they don't make that appropriation, then we're back to square one, which is, do we owe the $500,000 out of the taxpayers' pockets? And obviously that is a concern of mine. So I guess one issue that could be addressed potentially would be whether or not that legislation could be filed to repeal that statute and go back to the original agreement. Obviously, there would be political, for lack of a better word, political battles between the town's representatives and the representatives for the MWRA, the districts that comprise the MWRA, because obviously they would have their state representatives and their state senators, which would obviously carry a tremendous amount of clout because of the geographic region in which they represent.
Well, as we're talking about the legislature, let me ask you two other issues. One, the efforts to acquire land for a cemetery in the town of Clinton.
Yes.
Can you tell me what the status of that is?
Yes, I'm pleased to state that in conversations that I had with Michael Ward, our town administrator, he has indicated to me that that is in the final stages, that essentially all that has to happen at this point is that we have a deed that was reviewed by my office, sent back to the folks at the MDC to basically have them basically execute the deed, which would be the legal conveyance of the property over to the town of Clinton, and then I would record it at the Registry of Deeds, and then it would become a final transaction. But it has gone through all of the stages that it had to go through. Unfortunately, it took a long time, but it was only the yeoman efforts of Michael Ward and Billy Gilmore, our superintendent of public works, who worked tirelessly on this issue to try and bring this to a conclusion. But unfortunately, they had to go through the bureaucratic process of going through and having the MDC declaring it surplus land, going through the legislative process of having a statute enacted to allow this. Then the DEP had environmental issues dealing with whether or not it would impact negatively upon the groundwater in the area, which they said that it was okay. And then the Board of Health had to get involved, and they had to obviously sign off on it. So it was a cumbersome and complex process, but without the efforts of Michael and without the efforts of Billy Gilmore, they were the ones that really did the lion's share of the work trying to get that forward, and they should be commended because I think they did an outstanding job.
So the deeds in Boston are going to be executed, sent back to you to be recorded, and we will probably have some land in Clinton where Clintonians would be able to be buried.
Yes, my understanding is it's approximately 5 acres, give or take a little bit, but it'll be basically 5 acres.
We're talking about land. What about the 48 acres that the town's trying to acquire for open space and recreational interests across the street from the new high school?
Yes, that has actually, it is in the legislature at this point. The legislature, there was a joint committee comprised of representatives from the House of Representatives and representatives from the Senate, where they essentially met. They had testimony. Several representatives from the town of Clinton went down, testified. Our state representative Harold Naughton and our state senator Bob Bernstein testified before that legislative committee, urging that they go ahead and convey the land or give the enabling statute that would allow that to happen, basically convey the land over the town. The town's request was that that be made without financial remuneration or without money having to change hands for fair market value. I've been told by Dr. Slavin, our superintendent of schools, that now apparently the Inspector General of Massachusetts has indicated that from a statewide policy, he has testified before the legislature that they would like to see the town pay fair market value for that property. And they want every town to pay for fair market value whenever they acquire land, surplus land from the state. So right now, that issue is being battled out in the legislature. I know that I believe that some Representative Harold Naughton has met with the Ways and Means chairman, and he's working to try and resolve that issue. So hopefully that issue will be resolved in favor of the town, because the big issue is what the cost would be. I'm pretty confident that the legislature will give the enabling statute that would allow us to acquire this property. The issue will be, do we have to pay a price for that? Obviously, if we have to pay a price, it's a concern for everybody, but hopefully that won't happen.
The state doesn't pay taxes on that property now.
No, my understanding is actually instead of paying taxes, because I believe that they're exempt because they're a government entity, that essentially they make a payment to the town, not really a tax payment, but a payment to kind of compensate the town for not having that land to be able to develop, to use, and whatnot. So they do make a payment to the town, but it's substantially less than what the fair market value would be.
Do we have any idea when that might be clarified?
I don't know exactly when that'll happen, because that would just depend on how soon it can get through the legislative process and get to the governor's desk and be signed into law. I've heard some estimates that it could be several months down the road. I think, again, the biggest stumbling block there will be whether or not we have to pay the fair market value for that property.
I ask you about a third piece of property in town, and that'd be the Corcoran School.
Yes.
What's the status on the town's efforts to get that property retrofitted?
Right now, my understanding is that Chris Philbin, the Community and Economic Development Office Director, and the Chamber of Commerce and several other concerned citizens from the town are working tirelessly to try and get the funding through the state to make this project happen. The good thing about this project, if it ever went through, is that it would be affordable assisted living for the elderly. It would give them the ability to have affordable housing, safe and secure housing, in a beautiful area right across from the park, and would also give them an opportunity to stay within the Clinton community. So it's an issue that is vital, I believe, to the downtown redevelopment of the town, although obviously it's not down in the High Street area. It's a building right across from our town hall. It's right across from our library. It's right across from our park, and that needs to be beautified and maintained. So I think it's vital to the revitalization of the town that we do that.
There's just some damage done to the Corcoran School. I think
Yes,
probably an act of God or Mother Nature.
Yes, my understanding is that that is currently being repaired, and I believe that Billy Conley from Conley Construction is working very hard to help preserve that and to protect it so that it doesn't become a liability to
That hasn't jeopardized this deal with the Barron companies?
Not that I'm aware of.
What sort of litigation is the town presently, or can you talk about present litigation the town may be engaged in?
Sure. Instead of getting into the specifics of each claim and whatnot, I can just kind of give you a general kind of state of the solicitor's office, so to speak.
Please.
There is a case that is pending before the appellate tax board that I went down and I tried at the appellate tax board with Rich Friel, who's the chairman of the Board of Assessors, and we went down. We presented that case to the commissioner before the appellate tax board. We're waiting a decision that's involving a nursing home in the town of Clinton and whether or not it was properly valued. That issue is still pending. There's a couple other matters that may be pending before the ATB. We're not sure if they're going to get to that level or if they will be settled by the assessor's office. In the Community and Economic Development Office, I have currently 4 cases that have been referred to me for collection for debts that have not been paid through a loan through the Community and Economic Development Office. One of those, I'm currently in negotiations with the attorney representing the individual that we've contacted, and hopefully that will be resolved amicably among the parties. The other 3 matters are still pending. I have a small claims matter for the accountant's office that they've asked me to look into, and then I'm going to be filing in the Clinton District Court soon. I have a matter that we're dealing with the civil rights case with the Clinton Police Department in the Superior Court of Massachusetts that is currently set for trial in mid-June. Then I have a matter that has been concluded before the Mass Commission Against Discrimination, and also another matter that was concluded at the appeals court level, which was Plouffe versus the town of Clinton. That was a Superior Court case that then was appealed and was resolved successfully at the appellate level on behalf of the town. So all of these issues are currently facing the town.
How have you found your first year as a town solicitor?
I found it completely rewarding, challenging, and without a doubt, I've been very impressed with the people that are dedicated up at the town hall. I've worked tirelessly with Chris Philbin's office, with Michael Ward's office, and with all the department heads. And without a doubt, I think that we have a quality group at the town hall. I think we have a dedicated group, and I think that without a doubt that I have benefited tremendously from that relationship with all of these individuals. So the Board of Selectmen have been wonderful. It's been a pleasure for me to deal with them and work with them and trying to resolve some of the issues. They've been extremely supportive, and they've whenever I've asked for some support, whether it's through getting my office established at the town hall or getting funding for certain particular issues, they've always been there and they've always supported me. So I'm very happy to report that everything is going very well.
As the town's top lawyer, do you come in contact with the private sector in the community at all?
Yes. I deal with the Chamber of Commerce. I've dealt with Uptown Inc. and their revitalization efforts, and then obviously with numerous attorneys in the private sector with their various claims either against the town or whatnot.
And how are the relationships with the Chamber and the Uptown group trying to revitalize the downtown area?
I've been very impressed with the level of commitment, both from the Chamber of Commerce and from John Ferrara and his office with Uptown Inc. I think that they've worked tirelessly trying to revitalize the downtown area with Mr. Z's Pizza House and trying to help out there, and several other areas in the town that they're trying to revitalize. I think they've done an outstanding job, and I'm hoping that in the future our downtown area will be brought back to where it was and where it should be.
What are your goals or objectives for year 2?
Okay. I would like to continue to work on my accessibility to the various boards. I would like to develop and implement a program where when there's new legislation that is passed through the legislature, that I can, once I get a copy of that statute, immediately sit down with and discuss that with the department heads. I would like to continue to develop the law library that I'm trying to develop for the town. One of the things that I was concerned about with is we really didn't have a central location for libraries for the town of Clinton. So I've been able to acquire books on zoning enforcement. I've acquired books on collections law for the town, with dealing with environmental issues, dealing with procedure for courts, dealing with how to try and litigate cases on behalf of the town in the Superior Court. So I've tried to develop that book-wise and also with computerization, and those are the goals that I would like to continue and build upon. So I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm confident that with the people that I'm working with and with the support of the townspeople, I think that it will be a successful second year.
I know one of the hot issues appears to be the licensing of marine oil on Main Street.
Yes.
And what is the status of that issue?
That is currently going to be coming before the Board of Selectmen tomorrow evening. Because it's something that is ongoing, I really can't get into it in too much detail. I can state that we've had exhaustive hearings on that issue. There's been representatives from the abutters that have gone to the Board of Selectmen, expressed their concerns, expressed their opinions. We were able to get an environmentalist to come aboard that could help us in advising the town of Clinton as to what conditions might be put on these licenses before they grant them. So I'm confident that one way or another that will come to a forefront on Wednesday evening.
You think you need more time to do this job?
Well, I think in anything in the legal profession, one thing I've learned in the 6+ years that I've been an attorney, that it's constantly a learning process, and that you can never learn enough about a particular area because, as you know, the statutes change constantly. The case law comes down where you thought that the statute said X and then the appeals court says it's something different, or that the judges on the appeals court split, so that it's never always a black or white issue. It's usually a gray issue. So I realized that I can never have enough of time in any profession, whether it's as town solicitor in private practice or whatever, to do the job the way I think it needs to be done. But I will certainly do my best to try and do it.
Try your best to come back with us in May of '98 and talk some more.
I would be pleased to come back, and I'd be honored to come back.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for tuning in this evening for comments on issues facing Clinton. My guest tonight has been Dennis P. Sargent, Town Solicitor for the Town of Clinton, talking about his first year and the legal fitness for the town. Thank you. Good evening. Well, we sit here and we talk, and I think it was painless. I hope it was painless.